Today, we will be doing a quick review of 4 important grammar points that help you speak and write clearly. These 4 points are relative pronouns, prepositional phrases, modal auxiliaries, and progressive tense. As a warm-up for today, can you think of a sentence that uses a word like which or because to give extra information? All right, the first one we're going over today is relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are for connecting ideas. These words act like a bridge to connect a piece of extra information back to a noun. They help you put 2 short ideas together into one longer, detailed sentence. Some of the really important words to know for this: who, which, that. Let's take a look at some examples. The first one, the boy is my friend. Now, the next idea that goes with that is the boy won the race. Now, let's combine these into one sentence that has a bit more detail. The boy who won the race is my friend. Let's try it again. 2 ideas into one combined sentence. I saw a movie, and the second one, the movie was very funny. Now let's combine them into I saw a movie that was very funny. See, we use the word that there to connect our idea 1 with idea 2 in order to make a full and complete sentence with details. Now it's your turn. I want you to each create one complete sentence. Just like these sentences, you need to combine 2 simple ideas into one sentence. And you need to use one of our connecting words, who, which, or that, to add specific information about a noun. Quick reminder, a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. Go ahead and come up with some of your own. Then we'll go over some example ones. Some example sentences for this would be, the cat, which is sleeping on the sofa, is very old. The girl who sits next to me is from China. I bought the shoes that were on sale. Our next topic that we're reviewing today, prepositional phrases, adding details, where and when. This is a group of words that start with a preposition, like in, on, at, under, and ends with a noun or a pronoun. It always tells us more about location, time, or manner. Let's take a look at the formula. Preposition plus extra words plus noun or object. For example, the cat is on the roof. Another example focusing on time. We will leave after dinner. Now, I'm going to read this small paragraph out loud to you, and I want you to count in your head the number of prepositional phrases you find. Are you ready? Let's see if you can count them all. The small brown squirrel darted up the large oak tree and disappeared into a hollow branch. After a few minutes, it peeked out with a giant acorn clutched in its tiny paws. We watched it carefully from the window. All right, go ahead and count them out. Now, I'm going to go over them with you. I'm going to read each one, and I want you to count them and see if you got the correct number. The first one is up the large oak tree, because that tells us where the squirrel darted. 2, into a hollow branch. This tells us where it disappeared. 3, after a few minutes. This tells us when it peeked out. 4, with a giant acorn. This tells us how it peeked out. 5, in its tiny paws. This tells us where the acorn was clutched. 6, from the window. This tells us where we watched. So go ahead and see, did you find all 6? Did you count them all correct? Thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. Next topic, modal auxiliaries. Showing attitude, can versus must. So what are they? These are helping verbs that show the speaker's feelings about an action, like ability, possibility, or duty. They are always followed by the base form of the main verb. Now, I know that can be a little confusing, so let's go over some. If the modal verb is can, its meaning for that is the ability. You have the skill or power. For example, using can, you would say, I can solve puzzles. The second word, must. That focuses on necessity or obligation, something you are required to do. For example, I must solve puzzles. Notice the difference here. Can is saying you have the ability, you can do something. Must is saying it's required of you. You have to do it, as in it's your homework or your teacher assigned it to you, meaning you have to do it. You don't have a choice. Can is just saying you are able to do it. Now it's your turn. I want you each to write 2 sentences. Write one sentence using the word can to show ability. And 2, write one sentence using must to show obligation. So you need to use those words, can and must, each in its own sentence. Something that you can do and something that you must do. The form for this could be something like, I can blank. I must blank. Another 2 examples for this in case you're struggling. My sentence using the word can might be something like, I can speak English, or she can lift that box. For must, meaning obligation, examples would be, you must stop at the red light, or we must study for the test tomorrow. Next up, we have progressive tense, action now. So what is it? This tense shows an action that is ongoing or in progress right now, or at a specific past or future time. The formula for this is is subject plus am, is, are, plus main verb ing. For example, he is running in the race, meaning that action of running is happening right now. Now, let's practice it. I'm going to give you a piece of a phrase, and I want you to convert it into progressive tense, meaning something that's happening right now. So the first one will be, the children play outside. So for your fixing of this phrase, it'll be the children blank. So fill in after the children. So for this one, changing the phrase, the children play outside, to a new phrase with progressive tense would make it, the children are playing outside. We added the word are, and we made play into playing, meaning it's happening now. Let's try a second one. My mother always bakes bread on Fridays. So now I want you to convert this phrase into one that uses an ing verb. So, my mother blank. Fill in the blank using the information from the first sentence. My mother always bakes bread on Fridays. So for this one, the correct answer would be, my mother is baking bread, because bakes becomes baking. And we add the word is to tie it all together. My mother is baking bread, meaning she's doing it right now. Let's try one more. Here's the information. I read a book every night before bed. Now, I want you to use that information and rewrite it into your own sentence using one of our ing action verbs. So you'd be filling out I blank, and you have to use the information from that first sentence I gave you. You could say, I was reading a book before bed. You could say, I am reading a book, meaning perhaps it's nighttime and you're reading your book right now. Well done. All right, let's practice a little bit more with progressive tenses. This time, instead of creating your own sentence, I'm going to read a book to you, and I want you to make a list of the progressive tenses from it. So get yourself out a piece of paper or open up something that you can type in. Our book is going to be Cinderella, an ongoing story. It's going to have a lot of our progressive tenses, so make sure to count them and list them. In a tall house, a kind girl named Ella was living with her cruel stepmother and two selfish stepsisters. Ella's life was not easy. While her stepsisters were always relaxing and buying new clothes, poor Ella was doing all the heavy housework. The stepmother was constantly shouting orders. Ella, you are polishing the silverware right now. Or, hurry up, the floor is needing a wash. Ella was never resting. She was washing the clothes, she was scrubbing the floors, and she was starting the fire every morning before sunrise. One day, a beautiful invitation arrived. The prince was planning a grand ball, and every young woman in the kingdom was being invited. Ella's stepsisters were jumping up and down with excitement. They were planning their outfits and discussing which handsome young men they hoped to meet. We are going to the ball, Ella, but you are not, the stepsisters mocked. That evening, the stepsisters were putting on their expensive gowns. The carriage was waiting outside the door. Ella watched them leave. She was sitting sadly by the fireplace, and tears were falling down her cheeks. Suddenly, a bright light appeared. Her fairy godmother was smiling kindly at her. "Why are you crying, dear child?" "I want to go to the ball, but I have no dress," Ella cried. "Nonsense," said the fairy godmother. The magic was beginning. Mice were transforming into magnificent horses, and a pumpkin was turning into a beautiful golden carriage. Ella's ragged dress was changing into a stunning blue gown. "You are looking like a true princess," said the fairy godmother. "Go, but remember, the magic is lasting only until midnight." Ella arrived at the castle. The prince was dancing with another girl when he saw Ella. He instantly fell in love. He hurried over, and soon they were dancing together in the middle of the ballroom. They were enjoying every moment of the magical night. Then the clock was striking midnight. "I am leaving now," Ella whispered, running away, but she lost one glass slipper on the steps. The next day, the prince was traveling all over the kingdom with the slipper. He was searching for the girl whose foot fit the tiny shoe. When he arrived at Ella's house, the stepsisters tried to fit the slipper, but it was too small. Finally, Ella stepped forward. She put on the slipper, and it fit perfectly. The prince found his princess, and they lived happily ever after. Now, we're going to read the Velveteen Rabbit. Now, for this one, we're paying attention for relative pronouns. So as I read, make yourself a list of the relative pronouns you hear in the story. Remember, the relative pronouns are words that act like a bridge to connect pieces of extra information back to a noun. Those are who, which, that. The Velveteen Rabbit was a simple toy that belonged to a young boy. He was not a new complicated toy which could walk or talk. He was just a soft stuffed animal with real rabbit fur and thread ears. In the nursery, he met many mechanical toys who often looked down on him. They were toys that thought they were superior because they had moving parts. The rabbit felt sad. He wanted to know about being real. One day, the skin horse, who was the oldest and wisest toy in the room, explained true magic. "Real isn't how you are made," he said. "It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real." "Does it hurt?" the rabbit asked. "Sometimes," said the skin horse. "But once you are real, you don't mind being hurt. It lasts forever." The boy was a child who loved to play with the rabbit. He carried the toy everywhere. The boy, who was often shy, would hug the rabbit tightly when he slept. The rabbit's fur, which was once soft, became worn thin. His seams, which were tightly stitched, started to come undone. His eyes, which were made of tiny glass beads, fell out. The boy loved him the same. He was the only toy that the boy truly needed. The rabbit realized he, who had been so simple, was now becoming real. Then the boy got sick with scarlet fever. The rabbit, which the boy kept in bed, stayed close. When the boy recovered, the doctor ordered everything in the nursery that had touched the sick child to be burned. The rabbit, whom the boy loved so much, was thrown into the heap of old toys. The rabbit lay there feeling very sad. he cried a real tear. From the ground where the tear fell, a beautiful flower grew, and out of the flower came a fairy. She was the nursery magic fairy, whose job it was to make toys real for those who were loved enough. She picked up the rabbit. You were real to the boy because he loved you, she said. Now I will make you truly real, that you can live in the field. The fairy kissed the rabbit, and suddenly his thread ears twitched. His fur became soft and brown, and his legs could jump. He was a real rabbit who could run and play. The next spring, the boy saw a flash of brown in the garden. He never knew it was his old toy, the little velveteen rabbit who was now truly real forever.